What's up, guys? Welcome back. Oh god. Today we're gonna be talking about leopard geckos and things that you'll require when getting leopard geckos. So let's talk about food first. It's one of the most important factors about leopard geckos. For food, you'll need crickets, mealworms, dubia roaches. You can also feed them superworms, waxworms, hornworms, silkworms, bullet soldier fly larvae, also known as phoenix worms, also known as calcium worms. Yeah, but be sure, like, when you're feeding crickets, so crickets, dubia roaches, and mealworms are, like, your main diet. That's what you mostly want to feed. Things like superworms, hornworms, waxworms, butterworms, even, etc., are more of treats. The reason why is because most of them are more in fat. The reason why is because a lot of them have a lot of fattening in them, so it can cause your leopard gecko to get a little more bulkier, and also because the food is a little more addictive. You want them to stay at a weight that it's manageable, right? You don't want your leopard geckos to become like too lazy and stuff. So like when you're feeding like mealworms, they tend to really not hunt them down much. So like if you want your gecko to be non-lazy, you want to, like, let's say like I literally use this container like for like a leopard gecko carrier. All right, so let's say a leopard gecko's in here. I put a worm here, like on one side, right? It'll run from one side to the other, and I'll put a worm on the other side. It'll run from that side to another side, right? That's what I mean. They tend to hunt crickets, dubia roaches, all that kind of stuff. Next we're gonna get into temperatures. So temperatures, you'll need 75 degrees on the cool side and 85 to 90 degrees on the hot side. This is because leopard geckos, when they eat, they need their heat. So then, like, for example, if you got your leopard gecko a heat mat, right? Once you feed your leopard geckos, they use that heat so they can digest easier. And when you get them like a heat lamp, they can use that for basking, and that can also be a part of their digestion. It'll be really good. So that's really important. And then you want that cool side of the tank to be 75 Fahrenheit, so like 75 degrees Fahrenheit, so they have that space to cool down. Next, we're going to talk about requirements. So leopard geckos need at least 3 hides. One warm, 1 cold, and 1 humid. Now, leopard geckos use those warm hides, if you do get them heat mats, to you put the heat mat on the cage and depending on what you use, you put what you use over there, and then you put your warm hide there. So then they go in that hide and retreat to that hide, helps them digestion, right? The cool hides for them to hide, because leopard geckos love hiding in small crevices. So you want basically lots and lots of hides. The more hides, the better, I guess. So this in mind, these are nocturnal animals, by the way, so they usually come out more in the night than in the day, so they usually sleep more in the day. That's why I usually feed them around like 7 to 9 o'clock-ish. So then they're more active and willing to eat more than, like, let's say in the morning or the afternoon, right? Usually feed them more at night. So then they're more active. And the reason why you want multiple hides, because, well, they love hiding, right? But the reason why you need that warm hide, depending if you use that heat mat, is so then they have something to retreat to and sleep, and that warmness gets, like, it warms into their belly, right? And it helps them with digestion, right? Exactly. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like you want your hides, your heat mat if you do use a heat mat, or your basking, right? But you want multiple hides for them to hide in. The sun is very burning right now. But you want multiple hides for them. And the reason why you need a humid hide is because let's say if they're shedding, right? They'll retreat to that humid hide, so then like it's like kind of like the hide that you usually spray down more than the other two. But basically, you want that humid hide. So you want the humid hide. You want that humid hide. So then they have something to retreat to when they're shedding, and it helps them because when they're shedding, it moistens their skin, so it's easier to like shed off. So yeah, that's why you want a humid hide. But a lot of people, sometimes including me, mostly including me though, but I see people they mix the cool hide with the humid hide. Okay, I do that. I might switch that though because I want to offer more and more hides. But for Mango, one of my leopard gecko, she has 4 hides. So she has that humid hide that was originally a cold hide but mixed, and we added a 3rd hide in. That's like in the middle of the tankish. So I started spraying that more. So she had that 3 hide, and then I added an extra like log bark cork. She loves that hide. This is my leopard gecko Hunter. I have 3 leopard geckos. And next we're going to talk about lighting. So especially leopard geckos need UVB. Well, literally any lizard could use UVB for that matter. Leopard geckos require UVB. It helps them with calcium D3, and it makes sure that they don't get any bone deficiencies and stuff and other diseases or sicknesses like that. So with this in mind, I recommend the light Arcadia 7%. I think I said that right, or even a 5%. Those are recommended for leopard geckos. I'll put pictures on the screen, and a heat lamp. The reason why heat lamp is because leopard geckos do like climbing. Okay, a lot of people say leopard geckos are more of land animals, so they like the land more. However, if you do notice, when you're picking up a leopard gecko, and you're handling it, they like crawling up your arm, crawling up your shoulders, maybe up your head, right? So they love climbing. So if you add some sticks, not like straight like point up sticks, but maybe like vertical, like kind of vertical sticks, they will climb up that. And the higher you put that to the heat lamp, the leopard like if you put that to the heat lamp, so like let's say the heat lamp was here, right? If this was like here, they wouldn't be getting as much heat compared to if you had like a little basking spot or like a stick where they climb up here. They can be climbing up there and basking. And it's important that you put the UVB light with the basking light. A lot of people, they put their UVB on one side, like their UVB light on one side, and their heat lamp on the other side. It's important that you do always put your UVB light right on the same, right where the same side where the heat lamp is. The reason why is because when they're basking, they also get their UVB while they're basking. So they get their heat for their digestion, and they also get the UVB for the calcium. And then you may be asking, well, what do I put for the other side? Maybe the other side might be darker. Maybe they could like that. But if you don't really like that, or if you think that the other side might be too empty, you can just get like a heat lamp, but don't put like a light in there, and just get a regular daylight and just brighten up the cage, the enclosure, the terrarium, and that could brighten up the cage, maybe add some more colors to their eyesight, stuff like that, make their cage more interesting. And I'm gonna go back to the requirement section for like substrate, liner, all that stuff. I will be switching my leopard geckos to substrate this June or July. I'm hoping for June, but please do not use liner. I've done my research on liner, and actually liner can actually like let's say if you're doing like a calcium feed, maybe like that calcium can get on the liner and it can go bad and stuff. Might spread diseases or sickness to your leopard geckos. Maybe you could get their claws stuck, like liner, like it's nice and soft, right? But leopard geckos, they have like little like tiny like little claws-ish. Maybe you can get their claw or nail stuck. that might not be good. I've seen it happen to my leopard gecko Pineapple. He was walking around. I was feeding him a mealworm, and then his foot got stuck on like a little like thing in the carpet, and he had to like yoink it out. Like it wasn't really dangerous, I'd say, but it could be. So that's one of the reasons why. And also because leopard geckos love to dig. So because of this factor that leopard geckos love to dig, it's like, I feel like if you just gave them substrate, then they can dig. But if you give them like liner or carpet, newspaper, or even paper towel, or TP if you want to, same exact thing. But if you do that, you're just taking away an opportunity of them digging. Now, when you're feeding leopard geckos, a lot of people are scared of getting some like too much substrate in their mouth. Like, let's say there's like a mealworm that's crawling on the ground, right? And they ate it. Right? So let's say they ate it and they got too much substrate in their mouth. That could probably be a problem. I'm not too sure. That could be a problem. However, just use substrate. And then again, there's always a purpose for feeding tongs, right? You can just, and like I said, for entertainment purposes, just in case your leopard gecko gets bored, like I said, put like a mealworm on like one side and the other side, right? There's not too much of a worry for these guys when it comes to getting too much substrate in their mouth. I feel like it's not that bad. Well, it is bad if they get substrate in their mouth. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just like, if for entertainment purposes, like for the leopard geckos, you can just tong feed. Like, that's the purpose of tongs. So for entertainment purposes, like I said about running around, feed, like, get the tong and like lower it around the cage. So like, let's say my leopard gecko Hunter was here, follow the tong, eats it, right? Follows the tong, eats it this way, eats it that way, right? That helps a lot. So yeah, so you don't really you don't have to worry about getting too much substrate in their mouth. But if you are worried about that, do not use calci sand. Basically, for bearded dragons and other lizards like leopard geckos and all that, people were bone deficiency, right? Because they're not getting much calcium, right? So they invented calci sand. And basically what that was is it's sand mixed with calcium. You provide a dish for leopard geckos, like a tiny bit. Like, he can even be like a little water bottle cap, right? But you just want to provide a dish or of some sort, like a small dish for them to eat. So, like for them to eat like the calcium when they need it, right? So, when they invented calci sand, their main goal was when eating, right? The leopard gecko or bearded dragon or any lizard would eat that sand, and it'll be like, this is calcium, this is good. And they'll keep on eating over and over and over again that same exact sand. Problem with that is if it gets too much sand, it can actually cause like lung problems and other problems in the leopard geckos. So do not use calci sand. It could be a hazard of all kinds for your geckos or any other lizards for that matter. So when you're using substrate, be mindful that leopard geckos do come from deserts, not like sandy desert what you're thinking of, but like rocky desert. So it's like still has some plants, right? Maybe like tall grass, but like not like the bright greenish color. Maybe like the tannish color or like the beigeish color. Maybe even the brownish, like maybe some brown on them, right? Right? So it's almost like color wheat-ish grass, if you get what I'm saying. And it's filled with a lot of rocks and small crevices for them to hide. So it's not like really, really sandy deserts. So what I do is I mix it with substrate, like maybe 70 or 80% substrate and 30 to 20% sand. And you just want to mix that substrate until it creates like somewhat close to their environment. So it's still sandy like their environment. So you can't just make it like an entire tropical. You gotta be mindful. It's not entire tropical like region, like crested geckos would like, or maybe Lechianus geckos or other geckos like that. These come from the desert, just like bearded dragons and other lizards. So they're just basically putting them in the wrong biome. And if you take it as, okay, I gotta put them in the desert, you're almost wrong about that, because what I'm talking about is a desert that is not like a desert like, say, scorpions or tarantulas or other stuff. Like, sure, they can come from that region, I understand that, like, but it's not like entirely sand. There's rocks and other things there. It's not just entirely just a dry oasis. It's like a desert with rain, but not too much rain. You get, and like a lot of rocks and small crevices for other creatures and stuff to hide, if that makes sense. So it's important to mix their substrate if you want to create more of a thing, more of a bioactive cage that represents them. Now, if you are using, if you are planning to do bioactive for these guys, I recommend using springtails, isopods, like white isopods, purple isopods, whatever you can get your hands on that is recommended for a cleanup crew. I recommend that. But yeah, so be mindful of their biome. Do not go like fully tropical for these guys. You gotta be mindful of their biome. They love like cork hides. They like sticks that go like upwards. Represents their biome, right? You want to represent their biome as much as possible. So getting them like fake plants, like fake greenery plants, okay, it's fine, right? But if you get too much of it and start representing more of a, I don't know, let's say like a tropical or like a jungle, you're putting them in a whole different biome. So you want to make sure that there's like some desert and things for them. I keep on putting Hunter in this little critter box. My bad. You want to make sure of that, and be sure, like, if you buy things from the pet store, like a lot of things that they sell at the pet store is actually can be harmful for your geckos. For example, if you go to the reptile section and if you see like, oh, there's a cool hide, right? Let's get it, right? You gotta be mindful. You gotta look around the hide first. The reason why is because most hides, they have like little sharp ledges and things, and the geckos can actually cut themselves or bruise themselves on sharp ledges. So you gotta be mindful of the hide. Maybe use like some sandpaper, just sand it off. Maybe shorten it a little bit, make it less sharper for them. And so it's not harmful for when they're crawling. They won't cut their bellies, they won't cut their backs, they won't cut their toes or legs, their face, their eyes, their mouth, anything. Or even their tail. So yeah, and be sure you do provide UVB for your geckos. You want to provide also a water bowl. Feeding bowl is optional, but a calcium bowl, like a tiny dish, like maybe a bottle cap dish, is okay for them. Yeah, and be mindful of what like you're feeding them. Like if you're feeding them a superworm, that's fine, but like maybe feed them like 3 to 4. I recommend 3, but if you want to do 4, it should be fine. Just you got to be mindful that a lot of those things can be addictive for your leopard geckos, and they could like reject anything else. Like let's say if you fed them like too much waxworms or superworms, or even hornworms or silkworms or butterworms or phoenix worms, aka calcium worms, or BSFL, bullet soldier fly larvae, it could get too addictive for these leopard geckos, and they could reject their regular mealworms, crickets, dubias, depending on where you live. Like not not depending on where you live, but like some things you can't really get in countries like where I am, Canada, you cannot get dubia roaches, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to get dubia roaches, and I found out that they're illegal in Canada, so that really sucked. But yeah, you got to be mindful of what you're feeding them, and do not take anything from the wild. Like do not take ooh, there's a worm that I see out in the grass. Do not take it. It could have parasites or other disinfections on it. And be sure when you are giving and providing your leopard gecko's water, you want to disinfect the water just in case, like if you use tap water, if there's anything in that tap water, you want to just maybe give it a couple drops of disinfection, like disinfecting, like maybe Exoterra or Zumed, like disinfection to help disinfect water. And that also includes misting. When you're misting them, disinfect the water for pretty much anything. So in that way, it's disinfected and they can't lead to pesticides or any other things. Now, a lot of people, especially, it's like rumors of spreading like wildfire, leopard geckos produce salmonella. Not true. They do not produce salmonella. It's the things that people touch and then touch the leopard geckos. For example, they touch something, right, and it's bad, and then they touch the leopard geckos, and then when other people go to touch the leopard geckos, the people that touch the leopard geckos afterwards get salmonella because of the other people that's touched and spread germs to the leopard geckos and given them sickness, and that could possibly lead to salmonella for you. So be sure you're washing your hands and everything before you touch leopard geckos, just to be safe. They don't produce salmonella. It's the things that other people touch and give it to them. But yeah, that should be about it for leopard geckos. Be sure to replicate their their environment the best you can, like their biome, and also be able to, if you want to know how to pick up a leopard gecko, you basically you wrap your hands like around like their belly, and you just lift up like that, and they believe that they fly. Literally, she believes that she flies. But yeah, that's about it for leopard geckos. I hope y'all enjoyed. Be sure to like and follow if you want more care things. And I'll catch you all later. Bye. Let's go put you back in your cage. Real one. It's like really dark outside, so I have to use a flashlight. There's some bits that I forgot. Like, number one, you have to weigh your geckos now and then. You have to like get a scaler and you have to weigh them to check their weight and stuff and make sure that they're healthy. Do not overfeed them. Give them plenty of hides. Make sure you provide UVB and heat lamp or even a heat mat. Do not use calci sand. Be aware when you're using substrate. Substrate is really well for any lizard, for that matter. Like, a lot of lizards do well on substrate, but just in case you don't want your leopard gecko or any other lizard for that matter eating too much substrate. Be mindful of seizures. Like, it could happen due to stress. So like, if you get like a baby leopard gecko, like, let it get used to the tank first, like maybe a week or two, and then slowly put your hand in tank and just let it lick you. Now, what it does when it licks you is it's basically marking its scent on you, so it knows its scent. And then eventually, once it's comfortable enough, it should crawl up on your hand, or once it trusts you enough, you can just pick it back. You can pick it up from the belly and hold it. There's my cat in the window. But yeah, that is about it for leopard geckos. It's one of the easiest geckos to care for. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. I'll be happy to help. If there's anything I didn't cover in this video, please comment. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please like and follow, and I'll enjoy every comment that you guys send me. Bye. Just so you guys know, be sure to let me just fix the camera. Be sure to use a thermostat and do not mix up with a thermometer. Thermometers read temperatures. Thermostats control them. So basically, let's say you have a heat lamp or a heat mat and temperatures start to rise rapidly. Your thermometer is reading the temperature and not controlling it. So get a thermostat. You set it to the temperature that you want, and that will control it. And it'll tell you, and you read from the thermometer. You read from the thermometer, and you need a thermostat to control temperatures. Thermometers read temperatures. Thermostats control them. So make sure that you definitely provide a thermostat when you're given a heat source to your leopard geckos. That's all from me. I personally hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, follow, and comment if there's anything I missed. And I'll catch y'all later. Have a good day. And also, this book right here, I have a lot of research. Like, you can take a look through some of my pages. Like, right here, you got your leopard gecko, research, crested geckos, sand geckos, tokay geckos in here. Like, you got your research going. I've been researching. I've been cooking right now. Leachianus gecko, gargoyle gecko, there's nothing on it. But I've been cooking. I'm not joking. Like, I've been staying up researching. Leaf tail gecko, there's nothing on. Morning gecko, got some on. If you want to see a care guide for that, I could definitely provide you all with a care guide for that. There's iguanas. I think I skipped one. Bear dragon, green tree monitor, anoles. Let me see. Pink tongue skinks and blue tongue skinks. Most of them don't have much on them, but I'm just showing y'all what's happening. Crocodile skinks. So you got some skinks going on. Oh yeah, you got your amphibians, and yeah, that's about it for today. Catch you all later. Peace. Have an awesome day. Awesome weekend.